So, hello everyone. This is Janet Meyer from the Positive Impact Movement, and I'm so happy to be here with Arnaud Saint-Paul, a conscious technologist, the creator of the Heartful Method to connect to your inner harmony, and the author of the book I is Born, inviting us to live our day-to-day through our heart. So I'm really very happy to have you here, Arnaud. I don't know you
Thank
from
you.
long, but it seems I do, because as I connected to you the first time, I already felt this heart-to-heart connection and allowing or to be able to be in freedom to be who I am and share with you from the heart. So thank you so much for that.
Well, thank you for having me. And yes, I can witness and confirm that heart-to-heart connection. And I'm very happy to have that opportunity to exchange and share this idea of harmony that we have in ourselves, and that we can have it every day, every moment, every now. And, it's a birthright we have, so why not?
Yes, I love that. I really love that, because lately I say really the past 2 weeks, I got conscious about I call it active meditation. No, I call it because someone in PI Move mentioned it, gave it that name, and it's this connection to the heart that you can do at any point in time. And when you do, you actually are like meditating, because you are being you are being borderless, you are feeling, and you're expanding, and you are taking in everything that is around you, because you are connecting to the heart. So there's really no need to, in addition, sit down, meditate, because you're already doing it in your moment, in your being, in your present. And this is so amazing. I love it. And I love it more because being aware of this, and then we both meet, gives me, it highlights even more that this way of being, this living from the inside out, and with someone that has been studying and working on it for so many years already, no? Because your method
Yes,
has to do with that.
yes. Yeah, the way it started, I mean, I guess it's, since my birth, but when I was 13, I woke up, and spiritually speaking, and I there was one question that was the only one that was important for me, which was, who am I? And I started that journey when I was, 16 or 17, to start figuring out what is this thing of being human, and what does that mean related to me, obviously, because that's the only thing that I know. And so I went into the different religions and the philosophies and the practices, and into energy healing and many things, while I was also a financier and a tech entrepreneur at the same time. And I guess it's about 10 years ago that I woke up to that life purpose of helping 1 billion people to open their heart. And so here I am on my journey. And it's a fun journey. Funnily enough, it's not a boring journey how as it was before. And with that purpose in mind and in heart, I, start to grow myself, and accept that new reality that I can envision, so that it actually becomes reality, at least in my world. And so that's what brought me, on one hand, to create Give Nation, which is an ecosystem for children, for them to become philanthropists and practice sustainable financial literacy.
Mhm.
and also starting to spread out that message of harmony, and with the other company called Heal Through Words, and where, you know, we have the capacity, the actually our inner essence is made of harmony or love, as you
Yeah.
may want to call it in with another name. And what if we can actually allow ourselves to live it, and to the fullest, and to that fullest expression of ourselves? Maybe in that case, you know, life become magical, and more importantly, we're, you know, blessed by so many things, and live from a place of gratitude, of empathy, of compassion, of love, of unconditional love. So that's that's the journey I am in, and, you know,
Yes.
who may want to follow, happy to have them on board. And
And
thankfully, for the past 33 decades, I had, you know, moments where of clarity, which helped me to create a visual map of how of that journey, from the I that is, um, that find itself segregated and alone and
Mhm.
like a particle, so isolated from the rest of the world, to a higher self, or also an I that is encompassing everything, embracing all that is, and being in total tune, in total flow with itself. So, meaning all its surrounding included, which is basically what we call harmony or coherence, right? And so I have these 160 charts that visually show us that path, and that I use in a 3 months coaching sessions
Mhm.
to help leaders on a mind perspective, which is obviously life changing. For it's obviously life changing for so many,
Yes.
for the people that work with me, and more importantly, they learn how to decipher how life talks to us, and change their belief patterns so that they can release them, and open up to new potentials, and therefore thriving faster and better, and so on. So yeah, there's a long work that I have done, and that now is started to be summarized in a few drawings, and it's a joy always sharing it.
Yes. Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it because um, in my journey, I've been observing a lot now. I, I learned to live in the present. I always have been open-hearted and vulnerable, but for me that was normal. People talk about vulnerability, but it's being normal, because if you're open-hearted and you are you, well, then that's normal not to be vulnerable, because you're showing yourself as who you are. But also because of that, at the beginning, in my early years, I was very shy, insecure, and everything, because I also was saying, okay, um, looking into the outside world, no, and how people could affect me, or and also when you're open-hearted, you do everything at the starting, you do everything for others, and you forget about yourself. No? So when I woke up, I said to myself, I would love myself foremost, and then the rest would come. And I've been learning through my social enterprise, and later on, especially with PI Move, I've learned a lot about um, being in the present, practicing, you know, to be here, open-hearted, sharing. I've seen how people change with that. You know? For us members, some of the members, some of the PI movers have changed a lot in this 1.5 years, because of just having conversations and flowing and being, allowing yourself to be. And like you were saying, changing beliefs, changing patterns that we've learned throughout life. that hide us, when we in reality, our nature is to be like that. It's our birthright that you were saying, and it's our nature to be open-hearted, to connect to the heart, and from there to live, no, this inside-out living. So through this experience, and this exploration experience and practicing of being, it's what I'm learning. So it has been very nice to see, to discover your method. That I saw a video, one of the videos from you explaining one of the charts, and resonated with me, because I was saying, yes, that's what we've been doing. That's what we've been observing with being, no, with learning to be. So it's been very nice to see it in a chart and an explanation, in a theory, based on something that I've been doing, you know. So it's been a nice discovery to find someone that is able to explain it. I was able to explain it, but through experiencing and being the example of what I've lived for others to live. But it's beautiful to see that someone has put it into a method also.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a method because that's what I live too. So, and we're all human. We're all going through the same things. It's just a matter of, in my case, I have that ability maybe, or at least I was resonating with this way of communication that has to be simple and illustrated, whether it is because this is the right time for that, or because it just spoke to me in any case, right? And it's a bit also what my new book, I is Born, is also the same thing. It's using another medium, in this case poems, to help us experience another facet of I. And because I'm not here to impart knowledge, I'm here to share experiences.
Yes.
And the same way you're living your life, which is only a collection of experiences, right? And that's the shortest path to ourselves. It's not by accumulating knowledge that we are present to ourselves, for sure.
Yes. And by being yourself, it inspires me and it opens me up. So that's also the way I see it. If you are yourself, that's how you're positively impacting the world. You might inspire others because they resonate with you, with your being, just through the sharing of who you are, not connecting to the heart. And because another thing I've seen is that there is no one size fits all, because everyone is so unique. Well, we are unique, and as we are unique, our way of being is unique, and our way of learning to connect to the heart, to go inside and live from the inside out, is also unique. But as you find others who are in freedom to show this uniqueness, and you connect with them, you take things from them that make you understand and learn to do it for yourself. That's why the observation is also so important, no? This beingness, because I take from you parts, I take from someone else part, I take from books, but I have to experience it to really get it, to integrate it my way, through my experience. And from there, then I am.
Yes, and you have always been.
I had a mask, not many layers, and I still have, which I have this patterns and beliefs to take away. But that's the beauty of what you said at the beginning, no? Once you discover this power of being, there's only growth, because we know we don't know anything, and there's so much to learn and grow from just being. It's amazing. It's infinite. It's beautiful, because We have so much.
Yeah, the way I see my life now, it's more of an opportunity to rebirth to myself every now and again. And so think about it like it's like going from one octave to another, if we
Yeah.
look at music to explain that. And so I'm in one octave and I'm doing my thing with all the different belief systems that I'm playing at that moment. And when at some point, because there is enough energy to change to a new octave, um, it happens all of a sudden. It's totally
Yeah.
sudden. And then from that new octave, I've dropped a few things from the first octave to the second. And so there is more potential. It's higher in frequency, and I'm flowing or surfing that new wave of new notes, right? It's super, it's amazing, and I'm discovering it and so on. And then poof, again, a new one comes up, a
Yeah.
new wave, so to speak, and I
Yeah.
will be surfing again. And so this way, I guess life becomes more magical every now moment. It just is it's moments where you are in yourself, in tune with yourself, and you are just flowing with it.
Yes. Yes.
And the what we call reality or the universe or whatever just resonates with that and goes with that flow, or in essence is actually expressing that flow that is within you, right?
Yeah.
And so hence that magicality aspect that I was just mentioning. Even if the word does not exist, it doesn't matter. and
We
uh,
understand
and,
over
and
here.
so and so that way we are just who we are, and that's enough, and that's simple. And the only thing I wants and the universe wants and reality wants is for you to be you the most you can,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
allowed yourself to be loved to the fullest extent you can. Because the hardest thing we have is to help to allow ourselves to love unconditionally and be loved unconditionally. We cannot fathom that. It seems very foreign to us. And that's the drama we're playing out,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and the dance with ourselves as well,
Yeah. The
of
dance,
course.
the beautiful dance
So
of
that dance between I, the small I, and I, the self or the universe, or even God, if you want to call it that way, or the soul. And it's a come and go until one day you allow yourself to be present to both at the same time,
yes.
and you're conscious about the dance all the time, and you're just again playing with it,
Yes.
and it becomes
And
fun.
yes, and now you were saying simplicity, no? Simple. And it's true.
Simplicity, yes.
And it's true because once you discover that part of you, the I that you are, but you have hidden, and you have learned to hide, so you have to unlearn and discover it. It's so simple. It's so simple to live from there, to
Hmm.
be to be this I, because it's you. And also another thing, you will never let it go again, because you have discovered this freedom, this universe, this infinite and limitless potential that there is. And it's for you to just live it, just surf the wave, because it's simple. It's so simple.
Yes, yes, it is, and that's the thing that catches us all the time. We're looking for complex things, for steps to go through in order to be able to achieve enlightenment or whatever
Yeah.
is our
Yeah.
purpose. And in reality, we are already love and loved. It is just about easing into it more than achieving it, right?
No.
And it is very simple. It's, you know, that exercise that you have in groups. I'm sure you've done it, where you have someone, and then in the back of that person there's another person that is going to catch the person that is letting go of
Yeah.
herself. Well, it's exactly that image, right, where we let go of all this pushing and struggling and hustling and blah blah blah, and allow ourselves to be caught up by our universe, as long as we believe that we are loved.
Mm.
Because if
Mm.
not, we're going to fall, and that's
Mm.
okay, because it's a way for me to be able to figure out that I'm still not open to more love, right? So and that's part of the loving dance that we're having with ourselves again. But yeah, it can be simple if we allow it, and most of the time we don't, which is
Yes.
okay.
Yes, because it's up to everyone to 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 grow and to learn when they are ready to learn and when they feel ready to learn. No? And I love this, what you were saying, no, that you mentioned before. You said the poof, no, and you changed the octave, no, this poof, and at the end it's that, it's this poof, and suddenly I'm awake, and suddenly I love myself, and I know who I am. But it's a poof, because it's not. How many times do you hear, what's your purpose, no, marketing, and so what's your purpose? You have to define your purpose. At the end, our purpose is to be who we are, who we
Mm-hmm.
already are, and
Mm-hmm.
through that, it's when we learn and we discover more about ourselves, and also what we love to do. And we could say, okay, then this turns to be our future purpose, no, and our purpose. But purpose itself is being who you are, and through that you create what you love. But also it happens poof. It's not that I have to search and define because my mind. No, it's not the mind. You just flow, you just are, you observe, you feel, you are in the present, you connect to your heart. And one day you discover, you said, I love to do this. Yes, I feel this is my way to go. I will walk.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where I'm going with that. I will walk this path, and maybe tomorrow I just have to walk to the right, and it's not the same that I'm thinking today, because today I'm here and tomorrow I don't know where I am. I will be growing and learning, no?
Mm-hmm.
So it's this constant evolution and constant observation and discovering of things through the living, through the being, through the presence, and not thinking forward or thinking backwards. No? Just it's really the being and the feeling, and the boof of the moment that you.
Yes.
So beautiful. And
Yes.
it's simple. It's simple. Just flow.
It is simple. Yes. And that's where it lies the complexity to help
Mhm.
a mind driven a perception, to help them let go of that need, which is really a need for survival, not necessarily financial survival, but survival of the identity to that way of being, and uh, and for them to allow themselves to breathe and um, and be there for themselves. That's a very interesting exercise.
Yes, yes. And in the breathing, is this inhalation and exhalation. Like when you're connecting to the heart, it's this exhalation, is this expansion from the heart to the world and connecting with everything. And then the inhalation is the getting all this energy in, this understanding, and taking it in and growing with it. No? So it's a constant
There's
moving,
the
constant
yeah
breathing. No?
the flux and the reflux, and also giving yourself the space to be there for you, because most of the time we are in the past, in the stories of the past, in the memories, in the future of the expectations and all that, and there's nobody in the middle. Absolutely nobody in the middle.
True.
In that now moment where you're breathing, nobody, everybody's gone.
Yeah.
And so becoming conscious of this physical body, becoming conscious of that breath, becoming conscious of who am I now,
Mm-hmm.
it's just that. Super
Mm-hmm.
simple.
Mm-hmm.
But that's miles and miles of unconditioning of yourself, and allowing yourself to start that journey towards still more simplicity, but and more a wider and deeper experience of yourself.
Yes.
But first we start with the small things, and then we grow from there. It's like a seed. It has to be very big, very small first, and then it goes into a big tree, and then it creates apples all year long. And it's a beautiful apple tree that is super happy doing its apples, and that's amazing. And the beauty of it is all nature is coming to aid that apple tree to make more apples, and to bring the rain and the sun and the wind and all that, and the bees, to make sure that this apple tree is taken care of, so that it can create more apples, because again, that's its purpose.
Yes.
That's its life purpose, that its life tune. And that's the only thing we want
Yes.
for you, apple tree.
Yes. Yes. That's beautiful. And in what I saw, your method makes them understand in their mind what's happening, no? Because you were now mentioning layer, the physical.
Mm-hmm.
We talk also the emotional layer, the physical layer,
And the
um,
mental layer.
the mental layer, and then the environment, no? And it's this constant
Yes.
observation of each of the layers to discover the eye of the eye.
To illustrate what the eye is composed of, right? And the only thing that I is striving for, if we look at this lifetime or any other lifetime for that matter, or the junction of all the lifetimes together, is to get into more and more and more alignment with itself, and through all these layers. And we can look at the seven bodies, or this interpretation that you just mentioned, but it's all looking for coherence. And sometimes we're going in the right direction, and sometimes we're straying a little bit, and that's okay. And that's part of also of that seeking of the coherence, because I cannot feel that coherence if I don't know what this coherence is, or cacophony in that case. Here we go. Here's our little dog that he's helping us to illustrate a
Okay, I'm
little
sorry.
bit. No, please, it's okay. On the contrary, it's part of the symphony of the world.
Yes, yes. I guess he has found something. Was barking with his. Oh, yes. So, and then I know you have your book. You have two books actually,
Yes,
and the one I mentioned is your last book, which is
yes.
the iBook.
I,
I
iBook, yes.
yes.
So I have it here, but obviously with the blurring. Hold on,
Yeah, put
let's
it
see.
like this in front.
Yeah,
Like, oh, no.
no, no, that won't work either. So let me get the blurring out. So that's the book here, and this is so it's 66. So first, I have a preface that explains why this works. So
Mhm.
why, by going through these 66 poems, you can actually shift your perception, and how does that impact your reality. right? So, and I'll give you the gist of it. It's super simple because you already know it in your case, but it's that we are all, everything that we experience of ourselves is made of vibration, all of it, from emotions to thoughts to physical reality to our physical body to everything we're experiencing. So, if I change a vibration at the core, and therefore have an impact to all aspects of our lives. So if I am able to observe a pattern, a belief pattern, or a belief system, become aware of it, accept it, transform it, it has a direct impact. And that's what I do with my clients. It's, you know, we in one session we understand what happened throughout the week, events that do not seem to be connected are actually expressing one of the belief patterns that are blocking the individual at that time. We understand it, we let go of it, and then the next week, boom, everything is freed up and it is not blocked anymore. So life is magical. I can attest that, and my clients do. So then after that, you know, up to us to choose if we want to or not. Anyway, I opened the book and I went into one page, right? Just by total
Yes.
chance. And guess which one I chose? Oh, not I chose. It
Oh, they
happened on the
came,
page
they
just now.
came to us. I
The
don't
one that came to us is heart.
know. Beautiful.
So
The world is magical.
I'm gonna have to read it.
Yes, please.
It connects me to an anecdote. I was talking with a partner who wanted to discuss the creation of 1,000 quotes with some Swarovski, you know, of these little Swarovski items,
Yeah.
and he wanted to film them, and so we were talking about the light and all that stuff, and then I tell him, well, I have all the quotes, and so I go to my to all the memes I have created out of the poems, and the first one I see with him is talking about prism and light. It was so that's the magic of life, right? When
Yes.
we are in tune with ourselves. So
Beautiful.
anyway, infinite me, eternal observer, unconditional loving self. I am. I
Mhm.
am all that is, all to be, all that was, one and the same. I am the object of my dream that I watch, see, and dream. I am the seer, I am the watcher of who I believe to be, letting go through love of the elusive self, the one I believe to be. I am, I am infinite love. So
Oh, yeah, yes.
besides the beauty of the English language that allows me to create that, and I translated it in Spanish and French as well, but it doesn't sound the same way. The idea of these poems is a bit like the Bhagavad Gita, where each stanza has their own understanding you can have. So, and the reason why I went through this idea of creating poems is because I, the reader, can, through these words, experience myself in what is being described there.
Hmm. Hmm.
And in some cases, it's very interesting. For instance, so the first part of the book is a redefinition of certain concepts like heart or trust or wisdom or persistence, which funnily enough has the most impact on social media right now,
Hmm.
and which is very interesting. And and so I can experience what persistence means, not from my point of view, but through the writer's point of view in that case, or the higher self point of view mostly, and so that I can shift myself, put myself into a new state,
Okay.
where from that new state I can accept that new type of vibration
Okay.
and start applying it to my life,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So now that's the first layer. And then there's a second layer deeper than that, where through these poems I also illustrate how the world works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so we can have another reading, which is okay, infinite me, eternal observer, unconditional loving self, I am. This is a description of the Atman, of God, etc., the higher self as well, which is all that is at the same time, right? And so I am all that is to be, all that was, one and the same. There is no, it's everything happens in the now moment. Every when, everywhere, doesn't matter. It's always now. And it is all that is. So it's including my experience of myself, my thoughts, my emotions, these items that I have around me, that amazing and beautiful conversation we're having where I'm all the only one talking. So that's why it's amazing. Uh,
I love it.
and all the different stories that are spread out in my consciousness, and that makes that now moment, right?
Yeah.
I am the object of my dream that I watch, see, and dream. So the heart, so that Atman, right, is projecting itself
Mm-hmm.
into a dream, looking at himself.
Yes.
He's the seer. I am the seer. I am the watcher of who I believe to be.
Yes. Which is
So there is that. In order for me to know myself, I need to disconnect myself from myself, forget who I am, and therefore believe that I am this. So in this,
Mhm.
I am Arnaud, or I am you, etc. Right?
Yes.
And and so that's the beauty of this world, where Janet and Arnaud are two separate beings, between quotes,
Yes.
which is true. And then it is also untrue. Both are true, by the way. And we can get into that later. Letting go through love of the elusive self, the one I believe to be. So, on that journey of separating myself from myself, my only purpose is to know myself. In other words, to know what love is not, and then know that love is, and then
Mm-hmm.
come back to that love, to that
Mm-hmm.
unconditional love of myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's not that not being in love is not me, it is also me, right? Because I am all that is.
Yes.
I am having that dance between
Yes.
myself and myself, between I and I. So the only conclusion there can be, always, at all levels, on all layers, is I am infinite love,
Yeah. So
which is the highest expression of what I can be.
yes.
And so on the other side, we have trust, but that may be another conversation to be had.
Mm. But I love it, like you were saying, in the if I think now, I really think on how it works. I mean, for everyone to understand, it's I project myself in the reading. No, I go into it. I project myself in the reading, and from there I am, and I'm taking and integrating, and that's a way.
Yes.
That's the way it helps for me to grow, no, and to take out the mind of it, because I'm being empathically going into the reading, feeling
Yes.
and integrating through the heart through this feeling.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's very powerful if we allow ourselves to do it, obviously.
Yeah. It's always.
And when we identify to these words and allow ourselves to experience them instead
Mm-hmm.
of just reading them or accumulating the knowledge of whatever they are representing. So when we are present to them and experiencing them, that allows us to really go from one octave to another,
Yes.
to go back to our metaphor of earlier, on a specific topic in that case. And the whole idea of this book, and probably the first one of several, is to explore another facet, another facet, another facet of ourselves, and through that way accelerate our our growth,
Never go.
into
Yes.
more presence
Yes.
to
So
ourselves.
yeah, so it's, yeah, I love it because it's this exploration, experiencing, and practicing what you have experienced.
Yes.
One and one,
Yes.
so that you are surfing better in the wave, and then suddenly you do the poof. But is that's why exploration, experiencing that is so vital, so important for the growth, is the experiencing, because from there it's when we really are taking in and understanding things, but it's through the experience. And when we understand and have this glimpse, we then practice and we integrate through experience, no? Because practicing is
Yes.
experience to continue growing and, yeah, and expanding and changing octave. And
Yes.
another question regarding the book. You wrote it, how do you I mean, because I do poems for myself when I connect to my heart in the morning and evening, but I'm consciously connecting to my heart, and I just write what I feel in the moment, no? And then I share those things, but it's basically because it's helping me. I read them and I say, wow, nice to read those words and poems, because I grew up with that. It's what I had to hear, no? It's what I had to read. So when you were writing the book, it was also, they came to you through journaling, or you were, how did
So,
it come?
so the
And
book
that,
has two parts. The
yeah,
first part is kind of a small dictionary. So I'm making the definition of, as I mentioned earlier,
yeah,
words like new, wisdom, love, being, or the way the poems came is that I was exploring for myself what it meant to me,
mm-hmm,
these words. So,
mm-hmm,
in my experience, what does that mean to have something new,
mm-hmm,
right?
yeah,
How do I create something new in my reality? How does that make sense? And so, in order to understand it from, again, my viewpoint, right?
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
then I was sitting down, and the words came on their own, and it's rather, quick. And so the same with buoyancy. Not that I didn't. So what did I need in order for me to be able to get into the manifestation of my dreams? Well, maybe I need some buoyancy sometimes, right? And what does that mean? Or or assertiveness or persistence, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
because manifestation happens only if persistence is part of it,
Yeah.
and also faith, and add a bit of grace in it,
And trust.
and trust, exactly, and some positivity in the process, because if not, it doesn't work, and some I amness, because without that nothing happens anyway, and some joy and some confidence. So that's the first section. The second section happened across a longer period of time, and it was more a bit like the charts. All of a sudden, they came to me, right? And so they are more lyrical in some way. So it's the titles are "To Thy Heart," "Know Thyself," "Song to My Twin Flame," "Love Birthing Its Wings," etc. And I even have an email from all that is to I in this,
Mm.
and there it's the expression of the journey of I to I, or I to self, in ways, from different angles. And we also revisit, core human experience happens, but from a very different angle. So the first half is very pragmatic in some way. The second half is talks to the heart further. Let's
Yeah,
put it that way.
yeah, from heart to heart.
And yeah, the writing of it. I mean, that whole book took about a month or two to make, and because it's just so it's setting the intention, and then boom, it comes
Mhm,
on its
mhm.
own very quickly.
Yes, yes.
And then I had to find a way to translate it to French and Spanish, and that was an issue.
Yeah, to keep the
To find
essence,
this,
no? To
to
keep the
keep the
essence of the
essence, yes.
words that came from the heart,
Mm.
that came in English, and then yeah, I sometimes it comes. Normally, I write in English, but one day I say in Spanish, and then it comes in Spanish, and it comes beautifully because it's the original part. No, it comes from the
Hmm.
heart in Spanish, or it comes in English. No, and yeah, in the way, in the translations, some things the vibration gets lost, no, because you're
Mm.
already putting some mind in the translation of it, so that it
Mm.
stays similar. But yes, vibration was the original one, no? That it's impactful
Yes.
to feel, to get it.
Mm.
Beautiful. Well, really, thank you so much, Arno.
My pleasure. My pleasure. It's really great.
Yes, yes. I'm learning with you um, in this growing of myself. I've learned from you today a lot, and connecting with
Well,
you through the heart. And I'm really thankful for that.
and I am thankful too for you allowing me to share, number one, and number two, to be able to resonate with you, and that beautiful energy of yours, and how this community that you're working with is amazing, from what it can, from that vibration that I can feel. And it's I'm super happy that these tools that were bestowed on me can be shared to these to help your community to grow and get onto the next octave.
To the, yes, it's so important. Yes, to yeah, it's to share and to be the experience for others to get connected and experience themselves. No,
Hmm.
this is, we were talking about the community, the movement, and at the end, it's this being togetherness, being love, allowing yourself to show yourself as who you are, love, and
Hmm.
co-create every moment, like you and me were doing today with this conversation. We co-created a beautiful conversation. I loved it, and I grew with that, and I'm still growing with it because I'm still here with you. So this experience stays with me forever, and I grow with that. And then the co-creation part, which is the togetherness, is it's amazing because you never know, by being in the now, by being you, what you are co-creating with someone in this sharing, because you
Yes
never
and
have
no.
intention.
Actually, you touched a little bit upon it earlier, and I forgot to go into that aspect, which is very interesting. So in the understanding I have of this world and this human experience, in this now moment, right, when we're here and not yesterday or tomorrow, or
Mm-hmm.
both for that matter. What interesting happens is that a bit like what I was illustrating earlier with what I do with the CEOs week in, week out, everything that is happening throughout each is a reflection of I.
Yeah.
So, in other words, we're walking in a room full of mirrors all the time. And each of these mirrors are sending us one aspect of ourselves back as a reflection, right? And so, and I'm not talking about the perception, I'm not talking
No, no.
about any action I may be doing that creates a reaction, that nothing at all from that, but more like where there is that undercurrent of belief systems, a inheritance from past generations, past lives, etc. If we want to go into that understanding, obviously, that are expressing themselves through these mirrors, which are events, situations, people, anything, you name it. And even the actual surroundings. So this room is a reflection of me. And and so our game, if we
Mm-hmm.
like to play it, right,
Mm-hmm.
is to understand that, becoming aware of that, accept it as such. Again, if we want to, and it becomes an axiom, like a core definition of our world, right? And then all of a sudden, by doing so, I'm opening up a beautiful Pandora box, in a good sense of the word,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
where I am allowing myself to understand that all of a sudden it's like a mathematical formula where it's R equal F of I, meaning our reality is a function of I. And so that means that each time I change something in I, meaning a belief system, for instance, I let it go or I transform it, boom, the rest, the mirror changes.
Yes.
Or actually, a few mirrors go down and becomes more and more transparent. There is less and less deformation in these mirrors, and therefore they become more and more clear. And as they become clearer and clearer, well, clarity happens, of course,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I am letting go of more illusions
Yeah.
here, there, which are in the past or the future or wherever, or even in that now moment, because I have accumulated so many stratas of me in that now moment that color this moment. And so I can get back to the essence of me, that simplicity we were talking about earlier. So that co-creation, to get back to what we were saying, is a co-creation with myself too.
Yeah.
So I can know it too. Let's face it, let's be in integrity with ourselves, right? It is part of me that is being expressed at that moment. So in other words, you may be learning things with me, but I'm just here to help you remember what you already know,
True.
nothing else.
Yeah. I love it.
And I am grateful for me to have that opportunity to allow you to touch again you and get back to you and be reborn to yourself,
Yes.
because this is the gift you're giving me by allowing me to do that. And so it's beautiful, it's harmonious, it's coherent,
Yes.
and it's love.
It's love. It's love. Yes. Yes. It's this. Yes. It's true. It's reflections. No, that's why they're sharing from the heart, being the heart, listening from the heart, connecting to the heart. You in, you learn so many things because you're also listening to yourself when you express, when listening also to others and seeing things that you alone are not able to see from yourself, no, from your eye. And this sharing, this dancing, no, in my dancing of my eye and dancing with your eye, no, this sharing, this giving and receiving is what yes, helps us to really understand more things, because we are experiencing in the moment and growing and co-creating.
Yes. Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. So thank you so much, Arnaud, for being here.
Thank you.
And with
Thank you.
everyone
Thank you.
else.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. Love you, and thank you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye.